I am Preeti Dias and I shall be your event chair for today. As Bobby Brown correctly said, every woman is pretty without makeup, but with the right kind of makeup, she's pretty powerful. I strongly believe that makeup magnifies the beauty of a woman that already exists. With the festive season around the corner, we're looking forward to bringing you the latest trends and the makeup tricks that can help you dress up and do makeup during the festive season. We all have faced a pandemic which is still going on, and we are facing the worst pandemic of our lives. So in order to cheer us up, we bring to you Beautopia right before the festive season so that you can enjoy your festivities with a great look on your face. So let me introduce you to the to our guest for today, Miss Riddhi Mahana, who's a professional makeup artist specializing in bridal and party makeovers. She's based out of Delhi and has given makeovers to various celebrities and designers. We look forward to learning and understanding basic nitty-gritties of makeup from her today. Now, I would like to invite our chapter chair, Dr. Aarti Gupta, to give a welcome address.
Thank you, Preeti. A very good evening and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today for this makeup workshop. As we approach the festive season, Flo Kanpur had dedicated the month of October as a month of giving and as a month of celebration. Most of us have spent majority of the last 7 months in our PJs. And while that is absolutely okay, the charm of the upcoming festive season is all about dressing up, about feeling good, decorating our homes, and spending time with loved ones. Keeping this in mind, the calendar for this month was planned. I am so excited for today's session and would like to warmly welcome Riddhi once again. I hope each one of you would enjoy the session and learn some useful tips and tricks. I truly believe that there is nothing more beautiful than a woman who feels beautiful from the inside. But hey, a little mascara and lipstick never hurt anyone. So with that in mind, ladies, I would now like to invite Riddhi to take on the stage and begin showing us how she creates magic with the brush. Over to you, Riddhi.
Hello, everybody. Can I start, Aarti? Hello.
Yeah,
am I audible?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, hello everybody. This is Ricky. I am a bridal makeup artist and I love doing makeup, and I promote that, makeup should not be looking caked up. It should look as natural as possible. And I don't believe in transforming people and keeping it very natural themselves, but yet, a better version or a very clean version of themselves so that they feel comfortable in wearing makeup. Makeup can be worn in different styles. Everybody has their own particular style. And I think one should keep their style in mind and then do the makeup. Makeup cannot be like a fixed thing that, we have to do these steps itself. There has to be personalized way of doing your own makeup the way you like. And there's nothing wrong and right in makeup. It's an art. Whoever likes it, whatever way, they should keep it that way. So that's my take on makeup.
Super. Riddhi, do you want to begin?
Aarti, are you there?
Yeah. Do you want to begin with showing us some makeup, and then we can do the Q&A? Preeti will take up the question and answers while you're doing the makeup.
So I'll call my model then, and then I'll keep, whatever questions that keep coming, and I'll keep answering them.
Super.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely. We can do that.
Sure. So that's Bhavya. She will be the model for me today.
Hi, Bhavya. Thank you.
So how I start my makeup is that, first of all, the cleaning, toning, and everything is done. First, I prep the skin. So generally, people have, everybody's got a different type of skin type. So people have oily skin, dry skin. But these days, generally people do have very dry skin. So we like to prep the skin in advance. And then I start with the eye makeup. And then I go on to the skin. First I do the eyes because eyes, when I'm doing the eye makeup, there's a lot of fallout. And there's no point doing the skin and having, you know, a little bit of eyeshadow fallen on your skin. And then you have those patches. So it's best to do the eye makeup first and then go on to the skin, so that you can conceal whatever is being fallen. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, Riddhi, just a small this thing. If you could just check, the video is extremely shaky, your video. In the sense with the internet connection, I'm not sure if everyone's facing this problem. We just got a message on the chat. It's a little shaky for me as well.
It's a little shaky.
Now is it better?
Yes.
How about now?
Yeah, a little better.
Now is it fine? Okay. It's on the stand. I'm not sure why it's like shaky, but just tell me if it's again shaky or something.
I think it's got to do more with the internet connection than with the phone moving.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with the skin prep. So what I was saying was, these days people do have generally dry skin. So I use Embroily's. That's a UK-based cream. It's for the sensitive skin. So you never know what reacts on what people. So this is for sensitive skin. I do love using Bobbi Brown cream also for the skin when I'm doing the makeup, because these products, though, they don't have SPF. So when the cream doesn't have SPF in it, it doesn't give flashback. Generally, if you see the pictures of the person, you know, we get a white cast. So that's because of the SPF that's there in this moisturizer or in the foundation if it's new. So if you want to click pictures with the flash, it's best to use products without SPF or low SPF. So this is the cream that I recommend. It's Embroily's. I'll take the pea size.
Riddhi, I would like to ask you one question, that how do you prepare different types of skin? Because right now you said that the model has got a dry skin, you know, a natural to normal to dry skin. So you're using Embroily's. But what about people with different kinds of skin, like maybe an oily and combination? What do you suggest for them?
So oily skin also we need to prep. It's not that if skin is oily, we do not use moisturizer. We use water-based moisturizer or any, but the skin has to be prepped. If the oily skin, we don't prep and we directly put the foundation. Foundations have that, you know, effect that it, you know, dries the skin. And then we get these cracks and everything. Because we've not prepped it well, the oily skin also, it starts leaving the oil. And all the foundation, everything starts slipping. If we already provide the right amount of moisturizer to our skin, it will not slip. Like it will not produce its own oil. So what happens if we don't prep our skin, that, you know, our skin is oily, then it will keep secreting more oil.
So what do you think is the
But if we give it...
What do you think is the most important step in prepping the skin?
Moisturizer and the selection of the moisturizer. I use generally sensitive skin moisturizer.
Okay.
And if I have client who has really oily skin, generally the T-zone is oily. So what I'll do is I'll prep this area less. Generally people have the oil secretions on the, you know, the chin, the nose tip is very oily for some people, but this is still dry. Yes. So I do prep the skin, then I put less amount here.
All right, perfect.
And for the dry skin, I put extra moisturizer and extra oil. I will use extra facial oil also. That's the oil to prep the skin for the dry skin.
Do you suggest oil?
And the primer water.
So do you suggest oil?
I don't use oil. If your skin is oily, I don't do oil.
Okay. All right.
If the skin is dry, then I definitely put the facial oil. But if the skin is oily, then, you know, especially in summers, it becomes too greasy.
Yes.
So I use sensitive skin moisturizer, and I love, if I'm doing makeup, I prefer using Bobbi Brown cream.
Okay.
And how I do the skin prep is, so we use rollers and all also. Right now, I'm not using rollers, but I always, take it, the stroke should be towards the ears.
All right.
So even if you have any swelling or something, and
So
people generally with oily skin, sorry?
You're talking about those skin rollers that you can just, so you
Yes.
do the
The jade roller, yes.
Right? That's what you're saying? The upward movement towards the
Your
ear.
voice is good.
Okay, great.
Yes, the movement has to be towards the ears so that whatever, the toxins and everything, they come out from the ear thing. So that's why we push the thing from the nose to the ear and from the forehead towards the ears. I do prep the lips also. Oil. So this is my prepping of the skin before I do the eyes. After I've done the eyes, I'll check the skin again. If I feel there's still more dryness on her skin, I again re-prep it. I've taken a little oil now and I'm massaging.
Which facial oil?
If the skin is very oily.
Riddhi, which facial oil?
Sorry?
Which facial oil will you?
So the Indulgio is good. Indulgio is good, but I've been using this Smashbox primer oil. So it primes the skin also, and it give the right type of moisturizer also.
Okay.
You don't have to take excess of it. I've just taken a drop. And the areas which are actually dry are these corners, the lip corners, the nose corners, these laugh lines and everything when we get those lines, and the under eye. Generally, people don't have that dry nose. The tip of the nose is not that dry. It's the corners of the nose, the laugh lines, and the corner of the lips.
Riddhi, I wanted to ask you, what fascinated you to this line of work, and when did you decide that you wanted to be a makeup artist?
So I started my career quite late, but it was due to some personal reasons that I started. But the thing was that I was always fascinated by the makeup thing. Like, how come that we Indians have that much caked up makeup? We look so white, we change our skin tone, and not the foreigners. So I wanted to understand about the makeup a little better because people do run away from the makeup. So I've done several courses. I've done it from many different artists. And then, I've taken out from all of them my own style of makeup, which I like, which I think I would be comfortable wearing. So my style of makeup style, I keep my skin very, very natural. But the eyes, I love enhancing eyes with kajal or, smoky eyes or a cut crease or a full cut crease or anything that I think would suit the client. So that's how I started getting into makeup.
That's amazing. And I think it's really, good to know that you're doing so well. Another question to you, Riddhi, would be that, do you think that, everybody should know their undertones?
That's the most important thing because that's where people go wrong.
But
when you wear a different shade or different tone of the foundation, that's when you start looking ghostly, and that's when the makeup looks, when you're wearing makeup, you look a different personality, and as soon as you take off the makeup, you look different. And people don't understand if they use the wrong tone, and they say, the makeup got oxidized or something. It's not the foundation that got oxidized. You use the wrong shade or the wrong tone. So that's when, imagine if we are a little dark tone, and we put, like, if say base is black and we try and put a whiter color on it, what will happen? The color will look gray.
Yes.
And that's when people say that my foundation got oxidized and I was looking very ghostly. मैं बहुत dark लग रही थी after a while. That's not the foundation mistake. It's not what foundation change after it's coming onto your skin. First of all, we have different temperatures on our skin. So that also matters. But then if we have darker and we're using a lighter shade of foundation, then we start looking gray after a while. Initially, it will look, oh, I'm looking very fair. But after a certain point, you'll start looking gray because the undertone of your darker color complexion will start reflecting. So you will say, oh, मैं तो dark हो गई थी after a while. It's not the foundation that got oxidized. It's the wrong shade that you chose. I hope I'm making sense.
Yes.
Actually, I've been teaching professional makeup. So, you know, my whatever I've been telling is like more on those bases.
No, I think we all can understand what you're saying, and we would just like you to keep elaborating the steps that you're doing so that, you know, we can just, you know, be with you.
Okay. So now I prepped the skin, and now I'm going to go on the eyes. So what happened? I prepped the skin and I had all oil in my hands and everything. So the oil would be on the lid. Now, if I try and do my eye makeup over the oil, it won't stay. It won't stick. So we have to prep the eyelid now, so that the whatever shade of the eyeshadow that we are putting, that will pop. Now, if I try and put in my eyeshadow directly over this eye, whatever the undertone she has, so we all have this eyelid is little darker than our tone. So I'm going to cover the base. So like how we do the, you know, the painting or anything, first we clear the canvas and then we put the color so that the actual color shows. Right? So I'm going to put the concealer on her eyelid, prep it, and then put the eyeshadow. So that what will happen is that my eyelid that's oily, that the oil will not secrete and it won't crack the eyeshadow.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. Of course it does.
Riddhi,
So I'm taking Tarte Shape-Tape Concealer.
Yeah, sorry, Riddhi, can I request someone at your end to check your internet connection? The video as well as audio is continuously breaking. So if someone, while you're doing,
Okay,
someone can just put up another connection or something like that and see.
1 second, I'll only see.
Just bear with us, members. I thought it's better that like we see the steps clearly because Riddhi's internet is a little shaky. Meanwhile, Preeti, do you want to just go over the steps she's already done?
Yes, of course. You know, we were asking Riddhi about what is the most important step in makeup, and in fact, we all would agree that the most important step while doing makeup is to start prepping your skin. Most of the times, we make this mistake that we don't want to prep the skin and we directly try to put the foundation on our faces. So it's important to prep
the skin.
We said that we can use a moisturizer if we've got normal to dry skin. And if the skin is oily, then we need to use water-based moisturizers. But moisturizer is a must. That is what she insisted on. And, you know, once the skin is properly prepped, it becomes very, very easy for the makeup to stay on there. And we can also get that exact shade of makeup and the foundation doesn't oxidize. So over to you, Riddhi.
Yeah. So I'm prepping the eyelid now. It's like clearing the canvas so that there's no darkness on the lid for the eyeshadow to pop, and I can put shadows wherever I want. So today I'm going to try and, you know, tell you about 2 eye looks. One will be a very simple, you know, a smoked. One is a smoky eye. That's generally everybody loves doing it, and the other one is a normal one eyeshadow, one crease color with the liner technique, which looks good when you're wearing a traditional outfit or something. And the smoky eyes will look good when you're wearing any western, or, you know, even the brown smoky eye, the matte brown smoky eye looks good when you're wearing a traditional, you know, sari, kanjivaram or something. Can you see how I've prepped the lid?
Riddhi, can we bring the camera a little more closer because our members are not able to see the brush strokes and the way you're applying? Yeah, I think this is better. Yes, this is better. Thank you.
You can tell Monica to do all these things.
Right, right.
Monica, just here. Yeah. Is it better now?
Yes, Monica, it's better. Thank you. So Riddhi, would you suggest to put this concealer on the eye that needs to be a shade lighter than our skin tone, or we can match the skin tone?
No. So what happens, the eyelid is darker. Okay. The eyelid, this is the eyelid.
Yes.
You see? So this eyelid is generally darker for everybody than the skin tone. So we have to use the concealer that covers the darkness.
All right.
So what I do is the concealer has to be as dark as what your dark circles are. Foundation has to be matching your skin tone. Highlighter has to be lighter than your skin tone. Contour has to be darker than your skin tone, which I'm going to get to that when I'm doing the skin.
All right. Perfect.
Concealer has to be as dark as your dark circles. So, see, dark circles are quite dark. And if we put a light shade on the dark circles, our under eye will start looking gray. The shadow will keep casting. There will be a shadow line. So that means you've not concealed it. You've actually used the lighter shade of the concealer.
All right.
It's the same concept as if you use the lighter foundation on the skin. The grayness will start coming out. So when we are doing professional makeup, we have different steps for even prepping the eyelid. So we use a lighter shade on the brow bone, a darker shade here. So, we can have those effects, what we give in the professional makeup. Because this is personal makeup, so I'm not touching things on that. But there are too many things, otherwise it says. Now prep the eyelid, the concealer with a loose powder. I have used Tarte Shape Tape concealer. That's a quite heavy concealer, heavy coverage concealer. So now first this eye I'm going to do a smoky eye, that I'll do the eye. So should I start with the smoky eye first?
Yes, of course, Riddhi, you can. We also wanted to know what are the brushes, basic brushes that one should have to do the makeup. I mean, not a professional look, but something that we can, buy for ourselves and do our own makeups.
So this is a fluffy brush. So this brush is the main brush for eye makeup when we are doing. So what this does is, this gives a very smoked up effect. The other brushes that's there, the flat brush. So I have different sizes of the brushes because I'm a professional, so we need different sizes of brushes. But then this is the brush so that we don't have the crease, and it looks like it's one color is blending into the other color. But then this is for the payoff. The flatter the brush, the more color will come concentrated. Okay. So if you want to have the softness in your makeup, this is the brush that's needed. 217 from MAC.
So it's 217 from MAC, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and it's known as fluffy brush.
That's a fluffy. That's a blending brush. And this is a flat brush.
Okay.
That's 239.
Thank you.
So So the other thing that I do when I'm doing the makeup is, so everybody is not blessed with a very, very big eye. So what we do when we put the liner is we cover the half the lid of the, with the black. Black makes things smaller. So what I do is I do the tight lining so that it gives the definition to the eye also, but it's not like a liner also. Like it's not covering the lid, but it's still defining the eye. So how I do that is I'm using Maybelline gel liner. There are many gel liners in the market, but the one that I love is Maybelline gel liner. Like there's gold brown also, there's MAC also, but it doesn't have that intensity of black. So what I do is I hold the lid. I ask them to look down. This is the waterline.
So you're filling color in the waterline to give the intensity.
Yeah, I'll just show you in a minute. You'll instantly see the difference. Now see the difference in between both the eyes.
Yes.
So can you see how defined this eye is looking compared to this eye?
Yes.
And I've not even used it as a liner yet. I've just tight lined and I've not even covered her lid yet. Still it's giving the definition. So when your eyelid is small, instead of using as a liner, do the tight lining.
Okay.
So that you're not covering the space of the eye.
So this trick is good for people with small eyelids.
Exactly. And to be honest, a lot of people don't put the correct liner. Everybody's liner is quite shaky.
I personally feel that once you've mastered the art of putting an eyeliner, half of your makeup is done.
I totally agree. And also the shape of the liner.
Yes.
People go so wrong in putting, putting the liner. And actually the wrong liner spoils the shape of the eye. Yeah. There will be people who say you look better without makeup. That's because the wrong techniques are being used on your features. And especially if the clients come to me and show me, face of an actress or someone, the makeup that they are wearing. It's not necessary the makeup they are wearing will look good on you, because you don't have those same features. So I think one should understand their own features and then do the makeup, instead of trying to copy what the others are doing. Yeah.
So Riddhi, we were talking about the undertones of the skin. Is there an easy way to determine undertone? I mean, how does a common person understand कि उसके skin का क्या undertone है?
So generally, the Delhi, we don't have either yellow or a pink base. We are mostly neutral base. Like we are more peachy. Like we do have an undertone of yellow and pink mix. We are very beige. But when we try and do ourselves quite pink or do ourselves to yellow, so when we try and change our tone to yellow, we might feel ki, we've started looking darker. But pink, then we start looking very pink and very ghostly in the pictures, very whitewashed it comes.
So how do we get the foundation?
So if you have green veins, mostly, if you see the veins and you see a lot of green in it, then you're warm. If you see a lot of blue veins, then you're cool.
Yes.
But right. Mostly Indians have both green and blue shades.
Then it is neutral.
It's a neutral.
Okay.
So I'm using a nude palette from Huda. So how I do is, so this is the lid, this is the crease, this is the brow bone. This is the lid, this is the crease where you can see the depth. And that's the brow bone. Now her lid is very prominent. Can you see her lid size?
Yes.
And her crease is here, but her brow bone is seen less. Correct?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her depth on her crease.
Okay.
So matte shadows, when we use shadows that are matte, they give the depth. If we use any shimmery eyeshadow, that pops. So if it's a shimmery color, it is illuminating, it will catch the light and it will pop. But if you're using matte, it will not take in the light and it will give a depth. Is that concept clear?
So Ridhima, if somebody has popping eyes, you are suggesting that one should use matte eyeshadows, and
Exactly.
if somebody has deep set eyes, then they should use shimmery eyeshadows.
Perfectly fine. It's this is how the makeup should be done. So
Right.
if, for example, if somebody has a lot of protruding eyes, when the eyelid is quite protruding, we call it protruding eyes. So if we put a shimmery eyeshadow there, it will pop out even more.
Okay.
So if we want to have the eyes that look very pleasing to the eyes to the other person, we should put matte shadow and make it look more graceful.
Great.
So similarly, open your eyes. So now if I'm going to put a darker shadow here, I'm going to create her crease. Right? So for that, I'm going to use the matte eyeshadow closer to her skin tone. I can use any matte. I can use a pink tone. I can use a peach tone. I can use a brown tone, brown with orange undertone or brown with red undertone. I'll take the eyeshadow. I'll dust off the excess. I'll hold her lid from her brow bone cut top. There's a peak of the eyebrows. Everybody's got that. So I hold it from there. I get the better grip on my crease. And then I'm going to fluff it.
So the brush movements have to be in a circular motion?
Yes. So I put the color here and then I push it on the crease.
So it goes outer to inner?
Yes, always outer. So the color has to, the concentration of the color has to be on the outer edge and lightest in the inside. So if I put my brush here, the more color will come here. And by the time I go inside, it will be softer. And my brush has to be always in a circular motion. I can't go like this. It will create a line.
Okay.
I have to go in circular motion so that I have a smoke. What is a smoky eye? Smoky eye is not what people do, that, you know, they put kajal and the black goes till top. That's not a smoky eye. That's a black eye.
Okay.
Smoky is when you have the darkness, the maximum darkness on your lash line, and it goes to the lighter shade. That's how the cloud goes. The smoke, how does the smoke go? It goes from the darkest to the lightest.
Okay.
Correct? So if the smoke is going on till top, that's not a smoky eye. That's a black eye or any color eye. Smoky eye will be when you have the darkest on the lid, the eyelash line, and lightest going on till the crease. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, listen, I keep going to my professional thing and I keep giving too many details. If I'm going overboard, do tell me that, enough knowledge.
No, I think you're doing perfect, Riddhi.
Okay. So I am giving on the corner, and then I'm going to go on the circular motion. So can you see the shadow that's blended?
Yes.
So now I'm going to take...
We're trying to create a crease line here with the
exactly
natural tones to the skin. So mostly it's browns, peaches, or light pinks.
Exactly. Whatever's closest to your skin color.
All right.
So now can you see the difference between two eyes? This doesn't have any crease right now. And this eye has already got the, the depth created.
Yes.
Now, after using this shade, I'm going to go on to a darker shade.
So now you're trying to smudge in the darker color again from outside to inside in the circular motions?
Yes, and I'm taking my previous brush with the previous color and I'm merging it into each other.
The fluffy brush, right?
So both are fluffy brush, but the size is different. So
Okay.
This is a little bigger brush, the bigger fluff, and this is a smaller fluff.
Okay.
So I've created the darkness on the outer corner and little bit going inside. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I generally doing, I love doing black to brown smoky eye. Because
Okay,
that's what our Indian tones a lot.
Okay.
So I'm using a pencil from MAC that's called Teddy. But
it's
you
a
can
very
use
popular color by MAC.
Sorry?
Teddy is a very popular color by MAC.
Exactly, a very, very popular color. Plus, I do sometimes use this Tom Ford color. That's also very similar to Teddy. It's in a gel shape.
Okay.
So that's exactly like Teddy color. But then, for initially for people to handle the gel, it's not easy. It's easier for them to handle the pencil. So I take the pencil, it's sharpened. And what I do is I go very close to the lash line. So this line is not necessary, you have to have a very even line. But one thing that you have to make sure is that it has to be thinner here and thicker on the outer side. That's what will create our eye shape. If you all know that our eyes is like this. It's thinner here and thicker on the outer side. It's like an almond shape. So even the liner or the smoky thing that we are going is thinner here and thicker here. Clear?
Yes.
And I'm going closer to the lash line.
You're just smudging the pencil closer to the lash line, the Teddy MAC pencil.
Yeah. Now I'm going to take a pencil brush, 219 from MAC. And I'm going to smoke up the upper line. So what we have to smoke is this line, the top line that's created. Because that's what we will create the smoke with.
Okay. Also, we would like to know the number of the small fluffy brush, Riddhi.
5 to 8 from Morphe.
From Morphe. Okay.
Just see the smoke now. Can you even see where it ended and where it's beginning?
Yes.
So that's how the smoke will go.
Can we zoom in a little to the eye, Monica?
Okay.
Yes, Monica, we can keep the camera here only. This is much clearer.
Okay.
Oh.
Can you all see?
Much better?
Yes.
So now can you see, I have put the cream shadow plus the powder eyeshadow, but do you see how it's merging into each other?
Yes.
So after black, I need little bit more depth here. So what I'm doing, I'm taking my kajal back and putting the kajal closest to her lash line. So now the brown that I had put till here. The black I'm going to put only on the lash line.
I would also like to request our members to keep asking questions if they have any, and they can put it on our chat box. And me or Aarti, we can take it up with Riddhi. So, we can keep asking whatever doubts or questions you have in mind. Riddhi, is there a trick to do this eyeliner when we are doing it ourselves? Do we need to hold our brow similarly?
So you can't do it when you're doing on yourself. No. So when you're doing on yourself, you can't hold it and do it. Okay. What will happen is you will make the wrong shape of the eye. What you have to do is you have to go like this and then put it. Don't stretch it.
Okay.
Stretch it, you extend the eye and the eye shape becomes wrong. So what you have to do is you have to pull it on top and then do like this, stamping. Okay.
But Riddhi, when you have matured eyes and you've got, slightly wrinkles coming up, I've seen most of the time the liner tends to get a little shaky because, you've put it and then suddenly, what do you suggest for that?
So the other eye that I'm going to do is for people with 40 plus who have wrinkles, like me.
And people who are 40 plus and still don't have wrinkles can try the smoky eyes. I would like to tell my members this.
See, smoky eyes can be done by people with 40 plus also. Even if they have wrinkles, if they're using a matte eyeshadow. The problem comes when you have wrinkles and you use a shimmery eyeshadow. That's when your wrinkles start popping up.
Okay, so a no from your side is when you have wrinkles, you should not be using a shimmery eyeshadow. And like you suggested, we should be concentrating more on the matte eyeshadows to give a lot of depth to the eye.
Yes, and also the depth, and also, if you have to hide your flaws, then you don't put the attention there. So what happens with the highlighters or the shimmery eyeshadows, your attention goes to the flaws.
Great, great. I think that's a great tip. Yes.
The second thing is, even if you see, we do when we are wearing Indian or anything, we feel like putting, the shimmery eyeshadow. For them, we get something like these pigments from Inglot. These are very fine powders in the shimmery form, which don't get, the crumpled between the lines. Can you see the shadow, the powder form?
So these are pigments from Inglot.
Yeah, and they were very fine.
Okay.
If you compare this eyeshadow, it's so thick and it's got, the chunks of the glitters.
Yes.
So compared to that, the Inglot shimmers are very fine. So they don't go and get stuck between the wrinkles.
Okay. Otherwise, our approach after women are wrinkle free. Don't worry. I think all of us are beautiful women and we are all wrinkle free.
That's great. So what happens now is I put the liner. I'm going to take an angle brush.
Angular brush. Okay.
Yeah.
Can
This
you
is
please?
also from 216.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the angle side outside and I'm going to smoke this up.
Okay, so the angle of the brush needs to be outside.
So when I'm outside, my angle is outside. When I'm inside, my angle is inside.
Great. Riddhi, there are a couple of people whose eyes water a lot. You know, they tend to get watery the moment you start makeup or the moment you're in front of the light. So is there a tip that you can help, people who have a watery eyes or, whose eyes start watering the moment the makeup begins?
So what we do is, like, even if I'm using any cream shadow or anything, I definitely seal it with the same color eyeshadow. So what happens if the cream product is sealed with the powder, it doesn't move.
No, the watery eyes, the eyes start watering and then the water is flowing out of the eyes while you're doing the eyes.
So what I do is I press these two corners.
Okay. So
to
these are the
points.
Yeah, the points. Yeah.
If I press this and take it in a little bit more. So this closes the tear duct.
Oh, okay. That's an amazing tip. And do you really think that the waterproof eyeliners and the waterproof mascaras are really waterproof?
They're water resistant, yeah, but they're the most effective one. If you use the normal non-waterproof liner and everything, and little bit water comes from your eyes, your entire makeup goes. So I definitely use all products that's water resistant.
So is there a waterproof eyeliner and a mascara that you would suggest to our members?
The Maybelline gel liner is the waterproof one.
Okay. And a mascara?
MAC mascara, the waterproof, I love it. That's what I use professionally. There are many mascaras in the market, but I love this MAC mascara that's waterproof. So this comes in two forms. It comes in waterproof and the other one. So waterproof is sometimes, if you don't clean your eyes properly with the makeup remover and all, or baby oil, I prefer using baby oil than makeup remover. But if you don't use it with the oil or the oil-based remover, then your eyelashes tend to break.
Okay.
That's the thing that you have to be careful when you're using a water-resistant product.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Riddhi, for your suggestion.
Can you see the smoke now?
Yes.
Can you see how the depth is going from the black to browns?
Yes.
So you know what? I don't stop here because if I use the cream products and not sealed it with the powder products of the same color, it won't stay for long. So now say example, if you're going for a smaller function, 1 or 2 hours, then it will stay. But I am used to doing bright. So if I don't seal these products, it won't stay. It will start creasing or cracking because as when we keep opening our eyelids and closing. So जितना हम open and close करेंगे, the eyelids will secrete oil because it will keep touching the top. This eyelid will keep touching. It keeps folding. So it keeps secreting the oils. So that's when your makeup won't last long. So any shade that you're using, you have to cover it with the same color eyeshadow.
Okay.
So I'm taking a brown shade and I'm sealing my first base color, that's steady.
So we just dab it into and it's sealed?
Yeah. So how when we're putting the foundation and we seal it with the powder, that's how you seal your eyeshadows. Right? Now I'm going to take a smaller angular brush. I'll take my black. Yeah. Can you see the depth?
Yes.
This is the most easiest smoky eye one can do. Now say for example, people don't want such simple eye. And if they want to enhance this further, what we can use is we can use a little shimmery eyeshadow on top of this. This is Antique from MAC. Can you see the pop?
Yes.
I'm going to use a finer, the Inglot powder, just to show you how it pops.
Riddhi, I have a question here. So, what if one does not have all these brushes? Is it okay to use your fingers, like, to put it on your eye? If you're not doing it professionally, you're just doing it for a simple outing or something.
I feel even if you don't have a flat brush, that's fine. But the fluffy brush is needed. Without that fluffy brush, you will not get the right amount of smooth.
Okay. So fingers is a no-no.
Fingers, you can use fingers for the base eyeshadow. But for the smoke of the crease and everything, you need that brush.
Okay.
So a single eyeshadow can be done with a finger, Riddhi?
Yes.
Great. So Riddhi, these days there's a lot of talk about the brows, and the brows are the new makeup, So what do you have to say about that? What is your favorite brow shape and how do you kind of enhance it?
To be honest, I'll tell you. So brows, they lift the face. So even a brow can change the face shape. So if you have a rounder face, if you have a little lift here, your face will start looking longer.
Yes.
Can you see the difference between both the sides?
Yes.
Now, if you have already got the longer face, and if you lift it further, your face will start looking even more elongated. I'll show you mine. My face is very long. Now I have kept my brow very the softer from the angle. Can you all see? Now
Yes.
because I have a longer face, if I lift it further, my face starts looking even more elongated. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
And I start looking very shoot. So if you have a rounder face, have an angle. If you have already got a longer face, keep it softer angle.
Thank you. That's a great tip. Riddhi, a lot of our viewers are waiting to see the single eyeshadow look also, because I think they feel that that's the most easy way to do, their everyday makeup.
Yes. I'll just complete this eye and then go on to the other, or do you want me to start with the other and then do the lower lash line and all later?
Yeah, we can do the lower lash line later, because, that way we can also see the difference.
Okay.
Because this eye, I think, is already looking very beautiful.
I hope everybody is able to understand that, like what I'm doing.
I think the YouTube has made all of us half makeup artists in the lockdown. And I'm sure all my viewers, including me, I've been watching YouTube as if, we are all going to become professional makeup artists watching that. So I'm sure all the words that you're using, all the names of the brands that you're using, all of us are already aware. And we've already requested the members to keep asking questions in case they're not able to understand anything, or in case they want to know anything about the product that Riddhi is using. So we're starting with the other eye, Riddhi, now?
Yes, we'll start with the other eye.
Great.
So I'm going to use one or two shadows, that's all. So I'm going to use one eyeshadow to create the crease.
It is the same eyeshadow palette, Huda Beauty Nude?
Yeah. The nude palette. I'm using the same so that, everybody knows how to use one shadow.
So
again, I'm going to lift this eye from the brow bone high point.
Okay.
And I'm going to create the depth with one color. So this fluffy brush is very important. Even if you're doing one eyeshadow look, you have to create this depth of the crease. Without creating the depth of the crease, you will not get the shape of the eye.
I think it's a must-have for all of us to have a fluffy eye. It is.
Even if you're a makeup person and you still use the foundation and everything, you should, even if I'm not doing any makeup or anything, the one thing that I definitely do after using the foundation is I create my crease because I've flattened my face.
So I think it's a must-have. Have a fluffy brush, which is number 217 from MAC. There is a small request coming from our members, is that if you could, because right now they don't have the brushes at home, and if they want to just try out what you're teaching today, is there a way we can just, apply eyeshadow with our fingers? And if you could just show me briefly how you can do it.
Okay.
Just to give them an idea how to use their fingers in case they don't have a brush right now at home.
They won't have any brushes?
There are a lot of us who don't do any makeups, and I think, we are very scared of makeups. So
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to take this shadow on my finger.
We can use the ring finger.
Yeah. I'm going to hold the eyelid again, because what happens after I hold the thing, the wrinkles and everything, the line goes, fine, and then I can apply it.
But in case the eyes are matured, like you said, then we don't need to use a shimmery eyeshadow, right?
As I told you, we can use the shimmery, but the pigment one.
Okay, great, great. So this is the way we can use our finger to apply a single eyeshadow on the eye.
Yeah, just make sure with the other finger there's no line here. So you keep blending that.
Great.
So I'm applying it with the ring finger and blending it with my small finger. Can you see there's no line there now?
Yes, yes, perfect. So any lines in the makeup is a no-no, Riddhi.
For me, it's a no-no. For me, it's a no-no.
No, I think all of us love to have blended eye makeup, something that doesn't show off much.
So the key to a good makeup, or even choosing the right makeup artist, is see the strokes. If you don't see the lines or if any lines on the eyes or on the skin, that's when the makeup is natural.
Great. We'll keep in mind now.
So I have learned from Namrata Soni, if you've all heard of.
Yes, of course.
So
She's a veteran.
she's
Yeah.
my teacher. So I love her style. And her style, if you've all seen, is like, you won't even know where it started and where it's ending. Or
Yes.
even if there's anything on the skin.
So the other eye, Riddhi, we'll be learning a liner technique, as you said,
Yes.
with a single eyeshadow.
So generally, people go wrong in the liner. That's when we try. It's when we try and do liner in one stroke.
Okay.
We all are not experts. Our hands do shake. So the best way to do liner is use a gel liner, plus go in a stamping form. Don't try and have a swipe like this. Stamp it. And then join the line.
Great.
So the difference between, if you go to a makeup artist, they take quite a long time to do. And what we do in our house is like, 5 minutes makeup.
Yes.
That's when the liner is not fine. You all can't get the straight line. So try and do a stamping form and then connecting the dots. Do that make sense?
Perfect. Perfect. I think we would love to see you doing it.
So I'm going to show you how I will be doing it. So I again hold it from the top. I will take my brush. I'll make sure I have a proper tip to it.
Okay.
Then I do closest to the lash line. Remember, it's black. You can go from thin to thick, but once you've gone thick, you can't go thin.
Perfect.
Right? Because it's black, it will leave its effect. So it's best to go slow, but fine.
Sure.
So I start from the center. Can you see how I'm stamping it?
Yes.
Slow
Stroke. Yeah, smaller strokes.
So I'm going to just zoom in the camera a bit. I'm holding it from here. I'm going on to the center. My brush is flat. I'm not going like this.
Okay.
That's when you leave the dots. Go on the flatter way. Keep stamping it.
Okay.
Do you see the line coming?
Yes, yes. We can see it.
Can you see how the liner is coming?
Yes. Very close to the eyelash and straight.
So you don't see those bumps. If you
Yes.
go like this, you will have those bumps.
Yes.
If you go flatter, you will not have bumps.
Also, we would like to know, Riddhi, that if, people with small lids, what is the shape of the eyeliner that they should use, and people with big lids, what is the kind of eyeliner that they should wear?
See, I told you, if the eyes are small, it's best to have a tight lining instead of covering up your lids. But if you have a good eye size, then the liner has to be thinner here.
Okay.
Thicker on this corner.
On the edges. All right.
On the last corner. That's where we make a wing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, if we have the thickness here to comparatively thickness here, it has to be thicker here. If you go thicker here, then you'll have to go even more thicker here. And that's when you make your wrong eye shape. Because you'll have to cover it up.
All right.
Now, if somebody has the almond shape,
yes,
you have to maintain their eye shape.
Okay.
If somebody has a round thing, if somebody has a rounder eye,
yes,
how will you make it as an almond?
longer?
Say, for example, this is round. How does round become an almond shape?
When you go long at the end. Yes.
If you elongate it.
Yes.
Now, if you have a smaller eye and you try and elongate it, what will happen? It will become like this.
It will become flatter. Yes.
Yeah, that's when we say that, northeastern eyes, that's what happens.
Yes.
So if you have a smaller eye, don't try and extend your eyes a lot more.
Okay. Great. Great tip.
If you have a round eye, extend it. If you have an almond shape eye, so the best shape eye is the almond shape. We all say, na, hiran wali aankhein, kiss, whatever.
Mrignani is what we call beautiful eyes.
Mrignani. So Mrignani is the almond shape.
Okay.
So that's what we try and achieve when we are doing the eye makeup.
Okay, great. So it's a perfect shape of eye is an almond. So that's what we try to achieve by bringing different shapes of eyeliner so that the eye starts looking almond.
Exactly. Even the northeastern, I see every part of the country have different thing. So it's not like northeastern eyes are not good or the Punjabi eyes are not good or anything. What we prefer getting is the almond shape.
Okay.
Even the northeastern eyes, you see, they put a very thicker liner.
Yes.
That's because they don't have a crease. So they try and create the crease with the liner.
Yes.
That's when the eyes pop.
Okay.
Now, if we have already got a popping eyes, and if we pop it further, it will look like a frog eye. Like, you see somebody whose eyes are like this, standing up. We have to subdue that.
Okay.
So you have to understand your eye shape and then do the makeup.
Great, great.
Can you all see the liner?
Yes, yes, of course.
So now the other thing comes, the liner size and where to lift it from.
Okay.
For the wing liner. So do you see? Do you see this end of the eye?
Yes.
So what we generally do is we put the liner.
Yes.
We'll have a little shadow here.
Yeah.
If we won't have the shadow here, this will start looking flat.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have a shadow here. Can you see under the lash line? There's a line that's going. If you'll see closely your eye, you'll see this line going that's attaching to the top.
Yes.
So that's where we take the angle from this one, and
Okay.
then we lift it up. Can you see the angle now?
Yes.
This will uplift the eye.
Okay. Riddhi, we are getting some questions from our members who wanted to ask you something. So are you comfortable if I can ask them to start asking, and you can keep answering while you're doing the second?
Please go ahead.
So I would request the members to ask questions and, to understand the look better and all the doubts that they have in their mind. So we have Deepa Agarwal, who would begin the question answer session. And Deepa, over to you. You can ask your question, please.
Yeah, thank you, Preeti. Hi, Riddhi. It is an absolute delight to watch you do your magic with the brush. Thank you so much. And my question was that usually when we buy our makeup products, we tend to throw away the packaging and which have the expiry dates, So how do we find out if our makeup products have expired? How do we assess if our makeup products have expired?
See, the liquid product, they expire first.
Okay.
So generally the shelf life of a foundation or anything cannot be beyond 6 or 7 months.
Okay.
For that matter, even lipstick cannot go beyond a year. Like if you keep it in the fridge for summers and all that, then it lasts that much.
Okay.
But your powder products, they last longer. So powder products also last longer. Say if you are using a compact, if you're using a puff, what you're doing is you will pack the on the compact powder and you'll apply on the skin.
Yes.
And then again back to the compact powder. You're transferring your oil from the skin to the compact.
Yeah.
That's when the compact gets spoiled.
Okay.
Now if you're using a brush and you keep washing and cleaning your brushes. So once you've used the brush with the compact and you've patted and you've again washed it and dried and then using it, the oil from your skin is not transferred that much to your compact. But generally what we do is we use compact from the sponge and keep it back on top of the powder.
Right.
That's called the compact powder. Otherwise,
Okay.
powder products can go on longer. The creamier products will get spoiled and you start having that smell from it.
Oh.
You know it when it's...
So that's a sign that they are getting spoiled.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Riddhi.
Right.
So the next question will be asked by Shalini Bhalla. Over to you, Shalini.
Thanks. Thank you, Preeti. Hi, Riddhi. So I was wondering, like, how do the models have such healthy and, glowing skin? And is there any makeup trick to it? And what would you elaborate on that?
So the skincare is a totally different for each and every person.
Sure.
So, we generally go for facials and everything for parlor.
Yes.
Do you think a parlor person would know your skin as much as a dermatologist? No. In fact, whenever I get a client, my bride especially, I can show you the faces, what's gone wrong on their facials just before their big days. So, just to overdo a bit, they'll massage so much that the first layer of the skin gets come out. It gets peeled off. It gets red or patchy. The best facials to be done is through a dermatologist. Firstly, you should regularly, even if you don't have any skin issues or anything, you should visit your dermatologist.
And that's going to be annually, or it's going to be like in few months?
It depends on skin to skin. How much are you using it? Are you using your makeup every time, every day?
No,
So even these models, they don't have blessed skin. They definitely go for these facials or the glow therapies or the peels and everything regularly. So the more you take care of your skin, the better it is. Models earn from the skin. So that's when you take more care of it. Okay. The other thing is eat healthy, exercise, more water. The water intake that we all don't really think is important. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe the contouring is what, which the models can do, just to make it.
Contouring is to make your face look slimmer.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the texture.
Okay.
The texture is in the hands of the models, what they get us.
Okay.
Priti, is there a makeup trick to add the glow? I mean, is it the right highlighting, or is it the right, product that you put in or mix in with your foundation that gives that dewy look? I think that's what Shalini wanted to know.
So that's the stroke cream or a glow, the highlighting glows or the stroke creams that we use.
Okay, it's a stroke cream.
So we get stroke creams. Now the fad is like to have the glowy makeup.
Yes.
We get powders, setting powders that have the glowy effect. If you've all heard of the name of Jaclyn Hill. So she has come out with the base powder that's highlighting. So that's where give the natural glow, the glow from within. Then we have a primer.
You just need to apply, Priti, you just need to apply this initially and just make it a base, and then it's going to be, you're ready for the go?
Every step has a different thing. So if you're using, so oils and everything, even the oil adds the glow. So if I'm using the oil with Farsali, that's got the natural glow.
Okay.
Now if I'm adding the primer, I like the backlighting primer from Becca.
Becca, yes.
This is another stroke cream from Becca. That to even have, if I have a client who's got really like a baby feel skin, then I can use this highlighter all over the face. We get MAC stroke cream, pink light, peach light, depending on your undertone. We use that as a moisturizer.
Okay.
Then we can use Cover FX drop. You see these latest clients who has this part totally highlighted. That's when you use these drops.
Which drops are these?
Cover FX.
Cover effect. Okay.
Then we seal it with the powder. Any highlighting powder.
Okay.
So there, to how much ever you want to enhance it, we've got enough products in the market to do that.
Great.
Great. Thanks a ton, Riddhi. Thank you so much. Over to Swati.
Yes, Swati Agarwal, you can ask your next question.
She needs to unmute.
Swati, can you please unmute?
Am I unmute now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Hi, Riddhi. Hi. Somehow I just couldn't take my attention off your eyes. You really have beautiful eyes. So
thank you so much.
So I want to know, as you mentioned earlier, that we should use a darker concealer for the eyelids. So is that how we should also treat our under eyes dark circles? That's quite a problem. So, or how else can we treat the under eye dark circles without the makeup looking too cakey?
Firstly, you don't have to use the darker concealer. You have to use the same concealer color, how your eyelids are darker. That much darkness, not darker than your eyelid.
Yeah.
Secondly, when we are doing the under eye, I'm going to show you how to correct it and then conceal it.
All right.
If you have a proper step of correcting the under eye and then putting the concealer, you will not layer it too much. But if you use the wrong shade, is when you keep applying and keep making it cakey. Also, the under eyes should have the least amount of product because that's where we have a lot of lines, fine lines. And that's the first place your makeup will start looking patchy, or you start looking caked up, yes, because the crack will start coming. So you have to use the corrector to correct the darkness, and then use the concealer.
So if we are using a darker shade as the skin tone, I mean, if I'm using the eyelid shade for the under eyes as well, so then does that blend well with the rest of the skin, or doesn't it make it?
So with the concealer, you will put the foundation shade. That's your skin tone.
Okay.
So that will merge it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
So now I've done the gel liner. Sorry. So our eyelid touches here and our liner transfers there. So the gel product, any cream product that I use, I seal it with the powder. I'm going to take a black eyeshadow and I'm going to stamp it and seal it so that the eyeliner doesn't move. Because sometimes even if you've seen that, it starts cracking the liner or it starts moving. If you seal it, it will not move.
Okay, so even a gel eyeliner, we need to seal it with a black eyeshadow?
So any cream product that I use, I seal it with the powder.
Okay, great. I think that should become a thumb rule now.
Yes. So even if when I'm doing the skin, you will see that if I'm doing the under eyes, I'm going to seal it with the powder. So if you have a dry skin and you say that, I want to stay away from the powder, there are powders that come for the dry skin also.
What do you suggest, a pressed powder or a loose powder?
So the pressed powder gives further more coverage because that's got pigments. The loose powder is light. So say for example, if you're going for a wedding and you want your foundation or anything to last longer, that's when you use compressed powder, the compact. But if you're going for a day function, I feel the loose powder will not show on your skin.
So is there a brand of loose powder that you suggest to our members?
I suggest Laura Mercier. That's a translucent powder that goes with mostly all the skin types. I love using Hourglass because that's a very, very fine powder. Then I love using Becca hydrating powder. So that's powder that turns into the watery effect. So people who have dry skin, if I use that, it just blends it into the skin.
Thank you.
Imagine with the powder having the effect of the water. It's a hydro powder. So that will be like, it will be setting the skin, but not making it dry.
Great. That's Becca, right?
That's Becca. Nowadays every brand's coming out with the different types of powder. I'm telling you the brands that I use.
Okay, great.
So you get these banana powders also in the market. So people who have the undertone is yellow, the warm undertone. If they use a banana powder, it will enhance their features.
So the banana by Crayola
in the skin.
Okay.
Though for me, I prefer using a translucent powder.
Translucent.
Only if I'm doing quite a deep skin, that's when I like using a banana powder.
Okay, great.
So by using the powder eyeshadow over the gel liner, the shine of the gel liner goes away. Sometimes you'll see on the pictures that, the liner is standing out with the shine. So this helps to take away that also.
Great, great tip.
Do you see the liner?
Yes.
So there's one more myth with the makeup. Nowadays, there's a fashion of having the inner corner highlights. If you've seen the lighter shade eyeshadows over here to pop the eyes. So that's used if you have deep set eyes or a close set eyes. If the eyeshadow, the bridge of the nose is very thin and you want to create a gap, that's when you do inner corner.
Okay. If
But
you have,
if your nose bridge is quite, it's got the width. If you use the inner corner highlight, you will even extend it a bit more.
Okay.
So you use darker things to get it closer, lighter things to take it further.
Great, great. I would request Ritu Sibal to ask her question, please. Over to you, Ritu.
Hi, Riddhi. Can you hear me? Hello. Riddhi, can you hear me?
Your voice is echoing, but yes, I can hear.
Yeah, actually, my internet connection is very poor. Yeah,
No.
So thank you so much, Riddhi, first of all, for giving us such helpful tips for makeup. So I would like to ask you, Riddhi, that as you know, we all are very fond of buying makeup. So what are the parameters we should keep in mind before we buy makeup? Can you please guide us?
Parameters in what sense? What do you want to buy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm saying parameters.
Like if you go for generally, you see, like if for like foundation or an eyeshadow. So what are the parameters we should think? I mean, what should we keep in mind before we just pick any makeup?
Okay. So the foundation, I always prefer the best brand. Reason being, it's going to go on your skin. So the cheaper, the higher the quality of the brand is, it will have more skincare products.
So is there a, are there a couple of brands that you would suggest us, fitting, like suiting everyone's pocket, right from, the top brand to the okay brand that you would suggest?
I'll come to that. So the foundation, there are different types of foundation. Matte foundation, glowy foundation, radiant foundation, water-based foundation. So first criteria of selecting the foundation has to be your skin type.
Okay.
The second has to be the texture. The third has to be how much coverage do you actually need. Now, say for example, if you really don't have any acne issues or those pigmentations, discoloration, your skin doesn't need that much layering of the foundation.
Okay.
That's when you can go for the lighter based foundation, that's liquid based, the water based. Right? So that's for that I love, and I'm not saying it in any way like that. I just adore that foundation. That's called Christian Dior Blackface Foundation.
Okay.
Like that's my go-to foundation. Now, if I need a little bit more coverage, but I still need a glowy feel, I will go for the NARS Radiant Foundation.
Okay.
Now, if I have, I need a little bit more coverage, but my skin has got a little texture to it, I cannot go for a glowy foundation because my pores and everything will enhance. That's when I will go on to Velvet Finish Foundation, which is Too Faced Foundation. Then comes if my skin is super oily, I will go for a matte foundation. That you can do. I like using matte. To be honest, most of the artists don't like using matte. The other one, matte foundation, I love, and Namrata uses it all the time, is the Double Wear Estee Lauder.
Okay.
So Double Wear Estee Lauder it doesn't move, it stays intact, and it's got super coverage. That's when your skin is done. But mostly for the deeper skin tone, So I've learned from Bangalore as well. I was in Bangalore for 17 years. So I've done skin tone from Bangalore as well. Chennai and Bangalore. So for them, we get very limited foundations. And MAC has done excellent job on foundation shades for them. So that's when I go to MAC. Huda people like, but I don't like. For me, it's super dry. Like I feel it's so heavy on the skin that it shows that you put Huda. So I find that the foundation that blends into your skin is the best. So the first criteria that you should see is what you're putting on your skin, what all ingredients it has. So for the skin, I will not compromise. For the eyes, eyeshadows, so these Maybelline and all, they will not have that much payoff. It depends on the pigments that they have. Now, if you're looking for a good enhanced eye makeup, I like Huda. Huda is affordable and it has good pigments, like little goes a long way. Same way, Maybelline nudes and everything, they don't give that much pop. Everybody, like if you're doing a personal makeup and everything, you'll say, कि मैंने लगाया तो है लेकिन दिख नहीं रहा. That's because it doesn't have that much pigments to it. So whatever said and done, the first thing I will do is what I'm putting on the skin. The primer. So the primers, there's a lot of different types of primers in the market. Hydrating primer, radiant primer, glowy primer, pore filling primers. We have these small pores around this area. A lot of us have around the nose and the cheeks. Take a pore filling primer, just apply it on those things and use it. Then we get hydrating primer from Marc Jacobs, that's the coconut based primer. That's going onto your skin. It's hydrating your skin while you've applied the makeup. Otherwise, if you use the normal brands, people come and say, I did foundation lagaya tha, I did makeup yesterday and I got a pimple. How come these models and these actresses, they wear makeup every day? Why isn't their skin, having these eruptions, and why do we have? So, first criteria, make sure that you're taking care of your skin. Rest, everything can fall. Eyes, people do stress on eye makeup and all. But what is seen more when you're wearing a makeup? Your eyes are open. Nobody knows which shadow you put or what you've applied or how you've applied or which eye style you've done. What is seen is the skin. People come and see your skin first. So take care of the skin, rest everything will fall.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Riddhi. Thank you for telling. So I would like to pass on to Trisha. Over to you, Trisha.
Hi, Riddhi. Thank you for the opportunity to ask you the next question. Riddhi, the session has been extremely interesting and informative. My question to you would be that, do you believe makeup is an inborn talent or something you feel one can only develop through professional training? Since a lot of upcoming artists are they're looking to make a career in this industry and do not have the kinds of funds that we do, that we can actually join such schools and take training. So what advice would you like to give us?
I'm so glad you asked this, because people think that it's an inborn talent and I don't have that skill of doing the makeup. It's not right. If you know how to dress yourself, if you know your styling. So, if you would see any bride, you will know this makeup artist has done her makeup because they have a particular style that they follow. Mickey Contractor, if you see, he goes on to the smoky eyes because that's his style of makeup. If you see Namrata, you will know her skin. It's a very nude makeup, very glowy. It's Namrata. So every makeup artist has their own style. If you know, and if you think your styling is good, the rest is all techniques. Nobody is born with those, those hands that, artistic hands, that we all have that straight line. That develops with time. The more you do, the better you get in it. No. But it's the personal makeup styling that matters. If you know how you want to dress up, you will make sure the bride or the party makeup or anybody's makeup that you're doing, you're putting your own style to it. So it's not that nobody can do makeup. Everybody can do makeup if you think you have that, so now, if you're wearing a, say, blue, what would you wear? Red lipstick or pink lipstick? As simple as that. How would you like to see yourself? So if you have that color thing in your mind, and I think everybody knows how to dress. Nowadays, the dressing up has become like everybody's forte. Earlier, we used to get an image consultant and they used to tell them, wear it this way. Now, we all have developed our own style. People can wear smoky eyes with red lipstick also. Smoky eyes with the nude lipstick also. Both look good.
But a lot of people, sorry to interrupt, but a lot of people, like, they can style or they can see like, okay, I'm wearing this shade of color for my dress and I know that this would look good on my face. But a lot of people fail to do that kind of makeup on their own, on themselves. So, do you suggest like taking up professional training always, or because everything is up there on the internet, so they can learn?
No, the internet will not tell you nitty-gritties. What would, see, right now I'm telling you so many details why you should do this and why you should not do this.
Correct.
Is there that much knowledge in YouTube given or provided? Now, the YouTubers who are doing on their skin or their face style, does that feature match you? Do you look identically like her? No. So they are doing makeup on themselves. So, the same techniques, if you start using on everybody, that will not work. So if you want to take it as a profession, you should do it on different features, not just on yourself. Then you're a blogger. If you're just doing makeup for yourself, you become a blogger. There are a lot of bloggers and they look pretty when they do makeup on themselves because they know their features so well, they'll just blindly, start doing the eye makeup. The makeup profession, when you're doing brides, I feel that, because not many people come for trial or I don't meet clients beforehand. Somebody's coming from US, they just have a week, getting married. I'm seeing their skin for the first time. I'm seeing their features for the first time. If I would have not studied about makeup, I cannot do makeup on them. I will not know what would look on which feature. I will just, so everybody's eyes is not same. Na? If I'll start doing smoky as the same thing as to every person, it might not match. कभी-कभी trick से अच्छा हो जाएगा, कभी-कभी गंदा हो जाएगा. But if you know why you're doing what, is when you can apply it. It's the technical knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah. We would love to take up your suggestions, Riddhi, on professional makeup and trainings that are required in makeup, but I think the lack of time restricts us from doing so. Riddhi, I would quickly want you to, finish the eyes, and if you could just, share a couple of tips for the rest of the face, and, we can just try and wind up the session.
Sure. So that's what I was telling you, Aarti, that, when I start talking about makeup, I don't know where to stop.
No, but that's been so wonderful, Riddhi. I mean, you've managed to answer so many queries, which is amazing. While doing, the eyes and everything, you've just really answered a lot of questions which the members had, which is great. I think that's what members had logged in here for, to get like their individual queries solved. Because, in general, smoky eyes kaise karna hai, that is available, like you said, on the YouTube. But getting your personal queries answered, you've really helped us a lot in that.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad. Otherwise, people will say that some might not even understand what I'm trying to say, or because I'm so much into makeup and I love each and everything about makeup that I can go on with it. Okay, now if you see her skin, do you see any track of oil left on her skin? Any trace of the oil?
No.
So now I'm going to reapply the oil. Because if I apply any thing on this skin, it won't take in. it will still be dry. So if you touch your skin and feel that does it need more moisturizing?
So Riddhi, if you could just tell us the steps to follow for base, because we are lacking time, and we can quickly understand that what are the steps one should follow while doing a base. So like you've already told us that it has to be properly moisturized and there should be a primer, and now you're applying oil.
So the thing is, initially we've done the toning, cleaning, toning and everything. Then I did the moisturizer, oiling a bit, and now I've applied the oil again. Then is the primer. So because my client's skin is quite clear, I'm going to use Becca Backlighting Primer. That's like the illuminating one. Otherwise, we can use Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. That's like the universal primer. I'm applying a primer now. So I have this concealer palette. If you see this peach and this orange, so that's the corrector. This green is also a corrector. So orange we use when we have darkness on the under eye. Green we've used very rarely, but if we have an active acne, so green contracts the red, and the orange and pink will contract the darkness under the eye, the blueness. If you know the color theory of it, orange is opposite blue and green is opposite black, red. Have you heard of the color theory?
Yes, we have, but I think it's more for professional people.
So I'll apply on the under eye very lightly and on the corners of the mouth. This is the area generally people have pigmentation, because when we are sleeping, the saliva comes out and this area gets darker. I'll always take a damp beauty blender. This picks up the excess product. And I'm taking a concealer. Foundation.
Which palette is this, Riddhi?
This is Bizar, but you can all take MAC concealer or double wear concealer, Estee Lauder double wear, or NARS.
So there are palettes for concealing?
So you individual, if you're using it professionally, then you need palettes. Otherwise, you can take one concealer, one shade concealer.
Okay.
So my concealer will be according to the darkness. Now my foundation will come according to her skin color. The highlighting that I will do, that will be lighter than her skin color. So people, if you want to look brighter, you will use a lighter shade of highlighter. You will not go lighter all over the face. When you go lighter on all over the face, your face starts looking bigger. Because when you wear white, you look bigger. So the highlighting has to be concentrated on the center. So I keep applying and I keep blending into her skin. Make sure you blend it onto the hairline. It shouldn't look like a line there. You're blending it into the hair. Don't leave the corners of your nose.
Riddhi, after the base, can we quickly come on the lips? Because, you know, we're running out of time and we wanted to just have a, you know, quick look at the complete look.
Oh, complete look. Okay. Now, how do I show the highlighting and everything then?
I think we'll keep the highlighting part of it for the next time.
Okay.
Now, I think we'll just do a quick thing on the lips and wrap it up, Riddhi. You've been like so good. I don't think we want you to end this, but just for the sheer lack of time.
Okay, fine. Let me just quickly do it then. I wanted to show you all the lashes part also. There's so much left.
I think, you know, you've answered so many questions that most of us have cleared our doubts, and, you know, we already know what are the good brands and what are the, you know, like you said, the nitty-gritties of makeup that are more important.
Let me just quickly contour this.
So which contour stick are you using, Riddhi?
I'm using Fenty.
Fenty?
Yeah, Fenty. I think we took a little longer time in explaining the eyes and everything.
Never mind, as long as, you know, we've understood and we've learned the tricks.
I think there's a suggestion from the audience to show highlighters and leave the lips.
Yes, I think we can do that.
Yeah. Highlighter is covered.
Because lips is something that everyone can do.
True. One tip for lips I'll give. That's please use the lip liners. That's what makes the lipstick stay longer.
Of course. Okay, so we need to use the nude lipstick liners.
Whatever lipstick shade that you're using, that is. If you're using red, then a red lip liner. If you're using nude pink, then nude pink lip liner. If you're using nude peach, then nude peach. So I'm using these cover effect drops. I'm going to put it on this. Can you see the glow?
Yes. So I think this answers Shalini question. Shalini was worried about the glow. So this is how you can add glow to your face, even if you're drinking less water and not caring too much about your skin.
We are not endorsing drinking less water and not caring about your skin. I think that's point number one to be addressed. But in case you are unable to do that and still want that glow.
And that's another powder to add that glowy.
Which were the powders that you used, Riddhi?
I used the Hourglass and the Jacqueline powder. Now I'm using the highlighter from Jacqueline. Can you see the glow?
I think we can already see the highlighted face and the contoured face. And even the base has a fantastic glow.
Let me show you the close-up of the skin, Monica. Yeah. You will not even feel that she's wearing a foundation.
Yes, it's very illuminated and very, very light.
So I feel that, you know, the skin should be this way, that, you know, you should even, nobody should even come to that wearing a foundation.
No, I think it's a great look, Riddhi. And Aarti, I would like you to proceed with the closing address, please.
That's a lovely, lovely look, Riddhi. I'm just kind of admiring it. But thank you so much for this wonderful session. We really, really appreciate your patience in answering all our questions. You know, you showed us some amazing tips and tricks, and especially the part about enhancing the eyes. Now with this close-up, I can see how beautiful that smoky eye is. And I don't know if I can manage doing that, but the way you did it, it seems so easy to do. But I'm definitely going to try. I would also like to extend a big thank you to our event chair for today, Preeti Dias, for so beautifully moderating the show. And a big thank you to all our members who came forward and asked the questions. A thank you to our year-long sponsors, Balancia Socks, Lohia Corp, and Art Denox for their continued support. And a big thank you to all us members who joined us today. Riddhi, can I request the IT team to share the green certificate? Riddhi, we have, just to honor what you've done for us today and shared all the knowledge you had, we've planted a tree in your name in the forest of Sundarbans. That's Flo Kanpur's way of showing our appreciation for you, that you've taken out time and made the effort to share your knowledge with us. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much. That's so nice.
Yeah, we'll send you the certificate and you can track down your tree as it grows.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, great. IT, can we unshare the screen, please, so that we can see, have a final look at the model and Riddhi?
Yes. Let me open this for her.
Can we unshare the screen, IT team?
Sorry?
No, just requesting the IT team to unshare the screen. Great. I love how quick your hands move. Like, you're so quickly the base and the entire face. And like,
just wanted to complete a bit.
No, absolutely. That's a lovely look.
Yeah, it looks half incomplete, but whatever.
No, but it looks great.
I think it looks beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much,
It
Riddhi.
was a great pleasure. Thank you.
Super. Thank you for taking out your time.
My pleasure.
Great. Thank you everyone for joining, and it was such a lovely session. Take care.